When Justin Jefferson got his deal, I talked about market, and I stressed how Justin Jefferson's deal should not set the market because he is the best player in football, or the best wide receiver in football, I'll say. And no one should get anything close to him, or he shouldn't be the marketer. No one should make more than him because they're not better than him. That's what I was talking about with Justin Jefferson's contract. And I heard a lot of people came to me talking about how wrong I am and this, that, and the third, and that, just contract doesn't make markets. And that for that, they are true. The market is not just set, and the market isn't just based on what someone's willing to pay you. Obviously, the market change, things dictate the market, and people's market are different. Trevor Lawrence gets a 5-year, $275 million extension. I think 210 of that is guaranteed, I believe. Let me first talk about the deal. I understand the crowd, and I hear the crowd that's saying, what has Trevor Lawrence done to warrant this contract, warrant being paid one of the greatest, or one of the highest paid and one of the best quarterbacks in the league? What has he done to get that? He doesn't have the playoff resume like you think he does. He doesn't have the regular season resume. Why do they get that? Or what did Trevor Lawrence do to deserve that contract? I understand the sentiment. And for that, I will say, I understand where they're coming from. And to a certain extent, I think Trevor Lawrence got paid. Let's look at it as a diagram. Let's look at it as a chart, like a pie chart. I think 35% of this contract was paid to him based on what he's done. And I'll say 35, based on what he's done. Based on the minimal playoff success, the comeback with the Chargers, based on some of the regular season numbers that he puts up, I think 35% of this contract was based on what he has done. I also think, and even though they be killing Emmanuel Acho, rightfully so, some of his takes be job crazy, I do think that a lot of this contract, or a lot of the 35%, also came from what he did in Clemson. But I think 65% is based on potential. And I think that could be a gift and a curse. If we're just talking about what Trevor Lawrence has done, then no, there's no way, shape, or form you think that he deserves a $275 million contract. He's one of the, year after year, he's amongst the league leaders in interceptions. I think that he hasn't been past the second round of the playoffs. I get it. Nothing about what he's done warrants a $275 million contract extension. But what I think the Jaguars did is they paid him off of potential. And they also paid him because of market. And what I mean by that is this. I think that we've been talking about some of the best quarterbacks, and when we do quarterback rankings, we always talk about who's the best, where do they rank and everything, and rightfully so. And Trevor Lawrence's name is always a tricky one because people like to rake him on his potential more than the product that he's put on tape. Now, the product that he put on tape is good, but it's not top tier. That's kind of the same argument that we have about Justin Herbert. I think some of the things that he puts on tape, some of the things Trevor Lawrence has put on tape is eye-popping and show-stopping. But when we talk about the total package, we haven't seen it yet. But I think Trevor Lawrence got paid 65% about what his potential is. I think potentially he is one of the best wide or quarterbacks in the league. But we just need to see it more. And I think that's the danger that you run into. Because what if you look up 5 years from now and Trevor Lawrence's resume pretty much stays towards the same. The Jaguars are borderline playoff, borderline second round team. He has a bunch of touchdowns in the regular season. He also has a bunch of interceptions. I think that if that looks the same in about 3 to 4 years, you're going to really regret giving Trevor Lawrence this contract. Because you don't give him this contract just because, you think he deserves it for what he's done. You're giving the contract for what you hope that he does. I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence is going to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that he's even going to take a team to a Super Bowl. But Trevor Lawrence has to look like one of the best quarterbacks in the league when you have a deal like this. And some nights he does, some more days he does, but majority of the time he doesn't. He just looks like a above average or above middle of the pack quarterback. So I think 35% of this contract is what he's done, and 65% is what they hope he will blossom into. And that is the fear that they kind of run. I also said that a lot of the 35 was about market. And that kind of gets to my second part of this topic. What you have to understand and why you're seeing a lot of these players, a lot of these quarterbacks get these ginormous deals is because of the market. And when you look, I was talking about this a little bit with CeeDee Lamb, but this is going to be centered around Dak Prescott. Trevor Lawrence is not the best quarterback in the league. Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, is not close to the best quarterback in the league. There's multiple quarterbacks that I would pick before I say Trevor Lawrence's name. Which kind of goes back to why I think that he was paid mostly on potential. He was also paid because, okay, if I'm not going to pay Trevor Lawrence and I'll let Trevor Lawrence walk, who are you getting to replace Trevor Lawrence that can do what Trevor Lawrence does? That's another thing that sets the market. My importance to your team. Everyone's importance is different, right? Not everyone has. Now, not every quarterback is important, but some quarterbacks mean just a tad bit more to their team than others. I think Trevor Lawrence's importance to the Jaguars is immense. And I also acknowledge the fact, and he and the Jaguars know this, which is why they paid him what they paid him. If not me, then who? If not me, then who? If foregone conclusions has already been taken as a title, if not me, then who is going to be the next option? You can feel how you feel about the contract. You can think he deserves it. You can think he doesn't. That's your prerogative. But Trevor Lawrence, just like the Jaguars, just like his agents, understand that it's going to cost you more to lose said player than it is to pay him. And what I mean by that is the Jaguars are one of those teams that thinks that they're on the cusp of being a Super Bowl caliber team. Well, that whole thinking goes out the window if you don't have a top tier quarterback. A top tier. I talked about this when we talked about the 49ers. Gone are the days where you can have a mediocre quarterback and a historic defense around and still think that you're good enough to win a Super Bowl. You need an above average to elite quarterback. That's what Trevor Lawrence is in their eyes. You lose him, there's not just a pool of available elite quarterbacks. In fact, let's back up. There is not an elite quarterback that is available, because if they were elite, they wouldn't be available. So when they say that he would cost more, it would cost the team more to lose him than it would be to let him go. That's what that means. Your future is cooked if you don't have someone to replace Trevor Lawrence. And there's nobody on the market that you would get that's even close to Trevor Lawrence, because if there was, they would not be on the market. Let's keep it a stack. Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.